Hello my friends and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm back with another instalment of bands you need to hear. Another band recommendation. If you've not checked this band out, if you've never heard of this band before, then you seriously need to check them out because it's well worth your time and you're onto a winner here with some cracking material, some heavy metal that you need to seriously acquaint yourself with. So today's recommendation then is a little bit of a random one because this band has actually been around for quite a long time now, since the late 90s, but they do not have that much material in their catalogue. I have to admit, I think there's like 2 full-length albums and plenty of singles and splits and some live stuff as well, but they're not prolific recorders of music. Not that much stuff to show. However, Vomit Remnants, delightful band name from Japan. They have some absolutely cracking, slamming, brutal death metal in their catalogue. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So Vomit Remnants, they have, as I say, they have been around for quite a long time. I'm trying to remind myself when this album actually came out. I think it was 1999. So a number of years ago. This is the debut album, Supreme Entity. Very interesting stuff. So I've been a fan of this band for quite a long time, although I'm not as up to date with brutal death metal as I was a few years ago. In my sort of late teens through to early 20s, I was seriously big into brutal death metal and slam, all the Kraaniums and Within Destructions and all of that good stuff. I was really big into it, and Vomit Remnants were a band of that kind of sound and style, that very extreme end of the brutal death metal spectrum. I was a big fan, absolutely big fan. They've got a good mix. They sound unique, but they've got a good mix of that kind of Suffocation style technicality and brutality, a little bit of Deeds of Flesh in there, but then they've got that kind of chugging slam that we would get from bands like Decomposition of Entrails, Disfigurement of Flesh. I'm trying to think, there's plenty of those sorts of bands out there. Morphogenetic Malformations, I think, is one name. It's brutal stuff. It's technical and intricate at times, but it's not technical death metal. It's got a little bit more complexity to it, but there's plenty of massive, chugging, groovy riffs. Very much akin to those of bands like Suffocation or even Dying Fetus. So as I say, Vomit Remnants, they're from Japan. In fact, I do actually have a Vomit Remnants t-shirt, so I should have worn that for the occasion, but Ailstorm will do, completely different though it may be. So this album, as I say, is the debut, Supreme Entity, and in this form, we've got kind of alternative art as well. Not really sure, different colour scheme at least. Interesting stuff here because we've got the full album, which is, it's not an overly long album. I think it's like 8 or 9 tracks, 8 tracks. Cracking brutality though. And then we've got a live recording as well, or like a live session. Where's that from? Live tracks taken from Miyazaki Hellfest 2018. So cool. We've got some brilliant kind of primitive brutal death metal. There's a few tracks where they've got kind of like annoying sample outro or intro too, and it's just a bit annoying. But we've got some great tracks in the form of Putrefying Dead Flesh, nice name, Rotted Human Waste, Engorgement, plenty of chug, plenty of slam and riffage there, and brutal vocals, and Murderous Thoughts Determined. The live material on there is pretty good as well. It's pretty primitively recorded, kind of live brutality. Good musicianship from the guys. So that's the lineup there. I'm not going to try and pronounce all the names because I'll totally butcher it. But it's good musicianship, some cracking riffs. So that's a good album. It's a strong album. Certainly if you like your, I'm going to say more budget recorded brutal death metal, then you're going to enjoy that. But the real winner is their most recent full-length studio album, entitled Hyper Groove Brutality. Now this album actually came out in 2017, I believe. Yeah, 2017. 8 tracks, just somewhere between sort of 35 and 40 minutes long, but it's freaking savage. This is cracking. Brilliant, brutal, guttural vocals from Dima Orlov. I believe his name is Dmitry, Russian vocalist. So a Russian with fronting a Japanese band. Seriously monstrous vocal performance from Dmitry. Brilliant stuff. Kind of, he's up there with your John Gallagher and your Frank Mullen. You know, that kind of really, really seriously guttural vocal style. Good stuff. But start to finish, this is hyper groove brutality defined. Tons of chug, tons of groovy riffing. Just take tracks such as Burn From Within and Hi-Fi The Art of Rapture. That kind of perfect 1-2. Absolute savage stuff. You've got your intro that really builds the suspense straight into an absolute whirlwind of crushing technical riffage. Technical, it's intricate, it's not overly intricate to the point where it's kind of, you know, at that defeated sanity, inherent disease kind of level of extremity where it's just widdly diddly. Not at all. There's plenty here that you can slam fists and headbang along to. Absolutely brilliant. Weird cover. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there, but still eye-catching nonetheless. Then we've got Die Fast and Blasting, an ode to the kind of brutal death metal ways. Again, plenty of blast beats, plenty of chug riffs in there, really heavy slam grooves. Extinction of Worthless Humanity. Then you've got some album highlights in the form of Inflicted Artificial Intelligence. Interesting stuff, a little bit more intricate. Absolute guttural storm that is Wire Rope Strangle. Despairing the Atmosphere, and the brilliant closing track, Supreme Indeterminate Power. Absolutely cracking stuff. Serious brutality. If you like Suffocation, Dying Fetus, if you like bands like Decomposition of Entrails, Extermination, Dismemberment, Abominable Putridity, Epicardiectomy, if you like that sort of stuff, then you're probably already familiar with Vomit Remnants, but you're seriously going to dig this stuff. The only other release of theirs I do have is this Split album, a split with The Blood of Christ, who are a Canadian band, I believe. This is entitled Eastern Beast, Western Wolf. This is not really that much to kind of write home about, to be honest. You've got 4 tracks from each band, I believe. You've got 5 from Vomit Remnants. One of them actually being a cover of the Blood of Christ track. It's a good cover though, I will admit, as in album artwork. And their cover isn't too bad of that Blood of Christ track. The track being Moonlight Eclipse. But to be honest, the other material is not really that much to write home about. As I say, it's not that brilliant. It's not great quality recording. The material from Blood of Christ is a little bit better, but nothing absolutely spectacular. So this is quite a forgettable release, to be honest. It's not their very best. But I would honestly say that just on the strength of this one album alone, hyper groove brutality, but also this kind of early brutal death metal brilliance of Supreme Entity, it makes Vomit Remnants definitely a band you need to hear if you love your brutal, chugging, groovy, slamming death metal. And I think the other reason why it kind of stands out to me is the fact that, considering this was 1999, this was a little bit ahead of the curve when you're talking about kind of brutal slamming death metal. Although there was plenty of death metal around and plenty of brutal death metal around as well. You know, Suffocation were no strangers, no new kids on the block by this point. So, you know, the scene was growing, but certainly they were way ahead of a lot of the bands that then followed from across the globe. So there you have it. Are you a fan of Vomit Remnants? Are you not? If not, then if you've never heard of them, definitely check them out. Certainly, as I say, if you like Suffocation and if you like Kraanium, bands like that, then you're definitely going to enjoy Vomit Remnants. Check this album out in particular. hypergroove brutality, you will not be disappointed. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Please do feel free to like and subscribe. As always, it's very much appreciated. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations. Above all, my friends, take care and stay heavy.